with journals, art projects, organized planner chic.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Organized Planner Chic. I'm Lucinda, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so and select the bell for notifications. Well, first, I want to thank all my Patreon members who help make it possible to create videos like this. Well, thank you so much. And if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. Okay, you guys. Well, first I want to be sure and note that with this book that I'm using from Dollar Tree, I left the sleeve on before I started the video, and I didn't think about this until this time in using a book, because I used to be a author, or I guess I still am an author, but I don't really push my products anymore, and I used to be a publisher and an editor, and it was very precious to me, my books that I wrote and published. But then this time, because I was looking at the sleeve in the video and I had flipped through the book later on in the process of this video and saw all these family pictures and stuff, and I thought, oh my gosh, it felt so personal, and I kind of felt bad about using the book or sharing the cover of the book, because then if I were the author, I'd be looking at that thinking, oh, my book is getting ready to be an arts and craft project. Now, I am not trying to make anyone feel guilty. What I just wanted to communicate is that I wanted to try to somehow honor this person and acknowledge their book, because it's not like it was an old battered book. It was a new book, and they had family pictures in it. And so what I'm going to try to do is, or what I intend to do, is at least take the family pictures that are in the inside and make some ephemera out of them, keep them fully intact, and use them as ephemera through this journal and maybe some other ones in the future. Okay, so having said that, what I've done so far is just use some masking tape so that if any of the paint that I'm going to be using on the cover won't bleed through, just get on the tape and everything. And then I have some scrap plastic from packaging that I always use in instances when I want to cover up pages in the inside. And so I just covered my table with this plastic reusable tablecloth that I cut up to protect the surface. And now this product is not from Dollar Tree. So the book was from Dollar Tree. This is acrylic gesso, which is not at Dollar Tree. That would be awesome if Dollar Tree had gesso. But this is just basically a primer to cover the black book cover and make it a neutral surface that I can paint another color on. And so I stirred it up a little bit inside the container, because that's what the directions say to do, and then I just did it some more inside of my little glass jar. And now I am using a paintbrush, not from Dollar Tree, but I'm using a paintbrush because they don't have any quite this wide. They have some that are fairly close, but they're at least another quarter or eighth of an inch smaller. So I'm using a brush that I already had, and I'm painting the gesso. Now, if you don't have gesso, you can just use some white paint, and you can get some white acrylic paint from Dollar Tree. Now, I'm going to use some white acrylic paint from Dollar Tree later on in this video, but it is pretty watery, so I'm not sure if it would have worked very well to cover this surface. I'm not sure how many coats you would have needed, and the tubes aren't that big, but you probably could have, well, I don't know. I think you would have needed to use more than one of those tubes to really cover this. So I think I did a couple of coats on this, but I didn't really let them completely dry as I was painting this first page of it. And I really should have had the book open the whole time. I don't know what I was thinking. So I had just done the one side, and now I'm just sped it up because it's basically the same thing that I am painting the other side. Exact same process. I dip my brush in a little bit of water because it helps it spread a little bit better. It spreads nice. I mean, it spreads okay, but it does get kind of thick and kind of sticks in one little spot until you get your brush wet, and then it helps it spread a whole lot better. And you see how well I covered? Doesn't it look good? Okay, so now this was just a scrap of cardboard that was from some labels. I think they were Avery labels, and I cut it already to fit the side and just kind of folded it in and wrinkled it all up, hoping that when I paint it later, that those will kind of show up as wear and all that. Now that is a picture of me. I still not exactly sure how old I was there, maybe 3. I've had that picture for forever, and this is the original that you're looking at here in the video right now, but I'm going to be copying that because that picture is so fragile. It's cracked and it's torn and retaped in a couple of spots. So I keep it under glass, but I needed to scan it, so I took it out. I will probably never take it out again because I don't know if it can handle it, and I should have handled the photo with some gloves, and I didn't, because now the acid in my hands and oils from my hands are on that piece of photography, and it will help it to decay or wear down. So I just traced around it because I'm going to do which I'm sketching here right now. I'm going to be making sort of an oval opening for it. It won't be a perfect oval, which I'm fine with because I wanted more of my picture to show up than not, because you know normally when you have an oval opening, a lot of it is covered up by the border around it. So I wanted to get as much in there as I could, and I just sketched it. I didn't use like protractor and compass and all that to get the perfect measurements to have the perfect oval. So we're just going to go with how I winged it. And now I'm just going to take some scissors and get up a little bit close so that I can cut around the edge that I really want to cut around, because I kind of did it jagged, because sometimes when you're tracing around stuff like this that kind of has a shiny surface, or sketching on something that has a shiny surface, that then the ink doesn't get on there the whole way, and then you have like these areas that you needed there to be a line and there's no line. And so I just kind of did it back and forth so that I could make sure it showed up. And yeah, and so now I've cut it out, and there it should fit. Little Lucy from a long time ago. Okay, and I'm just looking to see how it's going to look there. And now it's time to prepare to cover up that opening with some plastic that I had. It was just an old, actually first I'm going to put this packaging underneath it, which I really didn't need to do. I don't know why I did that. I think it's because even when I'm painting on the plastic, then the tablecloth, then I have to wipe it afterwards so I can continue to use that, and I just didn't want to do that. So I painted on the different side that I thought I wanted to. It would have been fine if I had done it on the printed side, but it would have required more coats. And so now I'm just putting the gesso on the white side, and it doesn't need very many coats. I did kind of splash it on there though, because I wanted to try to have some more texture, and so it took longer to dry. And so here I scanned or copied my photo, and this is the one that I'm going to use inside the opening, and I'm just going to cut around that. And like I said, I will put the original picture back in the glass, which is not just glass. It has 2 layers of, gosh, I can't think of what you call it. What is that called? I used to work at a fine art and framing store, which is where I got this, and now I can't. Mat. There are 2 mats that are on top of each other to put space between the photograph and the glass, which is really important, especially if you live in areas with high humidity, because then the photo can get stuck to the glass and you can never use another frame or anything for that photo. So, but this is a photocopy, so I'm not going to have the issue on this. This is just a piece of leftover plastic from package or whatever, and I am just drawing a line around that to put on the cardboard, and then I'll put the photo on top of the plastic. So I'm just cutting out this plastic to go in there. That's all I'm doing. There's really nothing else to say about this part. Yeah. I guess I can show you guys I haven't been feeling well. Not ill like internally, but my hip has been hurting a lot. I have disability, and it's just been hurting, so pray for me, please. Now this is the purple purple, what do you call it? What kind of paint is this? Tempera paint that I got from Dollar Tree. It's looking kind of blue, like a royal blue there right now, but it's actually purple. And then this is the Dollar Tree acrylic paint. Now, tempera paint is not permanent, and it will flake and stuff, and even if it's completely dry, if it gets wet, it'll just be like loose paint all over again, even if it's on paper, because it's for kids. It's basically kid paint normally, but if you mix it with acrylic, then it becomes permanent. And I'm not sure how much acrylic you need to mix it with to make that happen, but I'm sure I used plenty, because I was trying to get down to a lavender color. And plus I'm going to cover it with some varnish, which is going to protect it as well. But right now I've just got Dollar Tree tempera paint and Dollar Tree acrylic paint that are mixed together to make the color. So I just kept adding white paint, you saw there, until I got to the shade that I thought I wanted. I'm using the same brush that I used with the acrylic gesso. I just cleaned it. And now I'm just taking a paper towel and kind of swishing it around there, and then I'm going to dab it in a little bit. Probably should have started with the dab instead of swishing it like I did. But I wanted to give it some look worn and textured. Yeah, that's all I did with that. It was a little, no, I didn't dampen it. Yeah, I didn't dampen it. And so now I need to paint the rest of the book the same way, but I don't need to really paint the right side or one of the sides, because I'm going to be putting that frame that I created on the other side. So this time I decided to start to start dabbing as I went along instead of at the end. That way the paint had just a little bit time to do just a teeny tad bit of drying, so it wouldn't be, it would have more texture. Yeah. And then, yeah, so I've got all of that done. Like I said, I didn't need to do, I did need to do the spine, so I did that. I didn't need to put any past that, but that was fine. That way I wouldn't have really any gaps. Now this paint is not from Dollar Tree. This is some really good quality fine art paint. I think it's Academy. I can't see it right now. And it is in a gold color. And what I thought I would do is just kind of take a Dollar Tree paintbrush. This one is from Dollar Tree. And so far, everything I've used has been from Dollar Tree except for the gesso and this gold paint. And so I'm just taking the gold paint and just kind of putting it around areas where I had wrinkled up the cardboard or where I've got kind of a crease. And then eventually I'm just going to dab it in different spots, because I wanted to really be able to see it, but not see the gold, but not let it take over the project. It's just supposed to be kind of a added sheen. I don't know, just a touch of regality almost. But this vintage look is what I'm looking for, or what I'm going for rather. Yeah, and then as I dab it, I'm just taking my hand and kind of smoothing it out so it's not raised. And then this time I dabbed and then smoothed it, and dabbed and smoothed it, and just tried to make sure I got enough color again, but not too much. And now it's time to put the frame or put the picture in the frame. So first I'm going to tape in the plastic, and I kind of had to make sure I positioned it to get it where I wanted to, and then to make sure I had enough border on the right and left so that the tape would be actually adhering to the cardboard. I guess I really didn't have to, since I put tape at the top and the bottom, but I just wanted to make sure everything stayed in place and didn't move around, and that it looked really nice and centered. So that's what I did. Oh, what am I doing now? Oh, I haven't put the tape on the left and right. Or maybe I cut that out. No, because I haven't done it yet. So I'm just checking right now, yeah, to make sure everything looks good before I continue to tape, and making sure I was paying attention. My head is kind of tilted, so I wanted to make sure it was straight. And then I'm going to put tape on, I think, the sides now. What am I doing? Okay, the bottom of the photo and then the sides. Oh my gosh, y'all, my hip is hurting and my tailbone and all that stuff. Whew. I'm trying to do everything right to take care of it. Okay. Is that where I'm trying to do the side? Yeah, I was like, wait. I want to put some tape on the sides to make sure that everything stays in place. Yeah. But I'm doing everything I can for my hip. I'm doing my yoga. After I do yoga, it feels so much better. I'm icing it. But it's like when I sit down and I'm trying to make sure that I take breaks, like every 45 minutes that I'm getting up, sitting on some ice, taking turmeric and ginger, which both have anti-inflammatory. Turmeric, if you take organic turmeric and take a good teaspoon, full teaspoon or more of it, it works just like a NSAID, like Aleve or something like that. But because I have a history of peptic ulcers, I can't take NSAID. So I've been doing that, and then also ginger has anti-inflammatory properties and anti-cancer and all that. So I've been trying to take care of it. So now I'm using my Dollar Tree double-sided tape, which y'all know if you follow my channel is my absolute favorite. It's permanent. It's awesome. It's $1. So I'm putting that around, and that's what I'm going to use instead of glue, because I didn't want to have to deal with the glue spilling over and just being messy. For whatever reason, I just wanted to use this. I knew this would work easily, and I would get good coverage. I wouldn't have any gaps where it didn't glue, and I've got this little space. It's just easier and faster. And so now I'm going to go ahead and put that on the top. Now, I didn't get it perfectly centered. I think maybe I did on the left, but my cardboard probably wasn't perfectly straight. Excuse me. And so I went, after I got it laid on there, and trimmed it. But first I'm using my bone folder to make sure I get good pressure. You know, this is really not necessary when it comes to this double-sided permanent tape, but I just like doing it. I love using my bone folder, and I love making sure everything is the best it can possibly be. So yes, I have this overage here that I see, so I'm going to trim that excess starting here at the bottom. And you know, I thought about it later, and I was like, I really didn't need to do that. You know, this is an old vintage style that I'm going for. It's, you know, the idea is that it's been worn, and that, you know, if it's been worn, it's not going to look like it's brand new. But it's brand new to me, so I wasn't thinking that way. So I cut off that excess, and I didn't worry about trying to touch it up. I was like, okay, girl, let this go. This is a vintage old style. Okay, now I am going to use some of my gold letters. This was in a set of a bunch of different stickers from Recollections from Michael's that I've had for forever. And I'm going to put family history on it, because I'm going to use this as a genealogy book with family tree and pictures, old pictures, and everything from my family, from my parents, and all that good stuff. And I'm so excited to do that, which is what we're going to start setting up in the next video, is the inside pages. And what so I'm just putting the letters on here. And then after I get them all on there, and it's kind of weird how some of the letters just don't look like the letters that you would think they would be, but that's just the way it is when you've got different fonts. So after I get all the letters on here, which is going to take forever, then I'm going to put the varnish on the whole thing. Now I wish I had varnished the frame before I put it on there, but it worked out just fine. It just would have been, I wouldn't have had to be as careful as I had to be, because I already had the plastic and the photo and everything in there, but it worked out just fine. So I'm just getting all these stickers on here, which is just taking forever, even though I sped it up. Oh my gosh, have I said that my hip hurts yet? Because it's hurting. But you know, it'll be okay. I'm going to go do my yoga after I get finished doing this voiceover. I'm going to rest it. I'm gonna drink some ginger tea and some, oh, you guys, you should try making a ginger and turmeric tea. So you can do it either way, but to me it tastes the best whenever you do ginger, mostly ginger, so like a teaspoon of ginger. And well, did I do it? No, I did half a teaspoon of ginger and an eighth of a teaspoon of turmeric, and then the hot water and some non-dairy milk, and it is amazing. No sugar. It's just delicious. Okay, so here's the varnish, and I had trouble getting this little roller to fit in here, but I did my best, and then later on I just dripped it on there and did it. So I'm using a roller instead of a brush. I just thought it would be easier, and it was. And then I'm going to do pouring in little spots. So the most effective way, because I couldn't get the brush to fit all the way in there, was just to pour in the spots where I wanted coverage. Now I looked up online what I would do if I only had tempera paint and no acrylic, and it said that you could use varnish to make it permanent, but you would use a roller, and you would only roll once in a spot. So be careful if you do that in the future. You would like put the paint on, and then you would make sure you're paying attention to where your roller has gone, because remember, tempera paint, when it gets wet, it moves. I mean, it's just not a permanent paint, but once you put varnish on, it is permanent. But since I mixed mine with acrylic, it worked out just fine. I didn't have to worry about that. Yeah. So I'm just getting the different spots around where the frame is and trying to make sure that I don't get any on the plastic. It probably would have been fine because you probably wouldn't notice it, but just in case, I didn't want it to be looking all crazy. So yeah. I'm sorry if you're hearing little bitty noises. I'm sitting on the pillow, and when I turn, I'm sitting on the pillow, and when I turn around, it's making the kind of a swishy noise. Okay, so then I'm going around a little bit on the letters because a couple of the letters didn't stick all the way down, and I thought that would, oh no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm going into the gap or the cracks where the book folds and painting the varnish in there as well, because it couldn't really get in there with the roller. Yeah, and I just sped it up. I'm doing the bottom edges as well. I just want to make sure none of that ever wears down, that it lasts for a super long time, because I'm going to pass this down to one of my kids, if whoever wants it, and I think I'm going to make one for my mom and for everybody actually for Christmas, so they'll have their own. Now I'll explain about that button that's on there. I tried to glue the button and it wasn't working very well, so and I was using a really good glue too, but it wasn't working very well, and so I am not going to do that. But I didn't show that part of the video because I didn't keep it that way, but I'll show you here in a little bit. You'll see that I'm going to stitch that button. And so this is a little piece that I'm working with right now, that was on a journal, and it's so beautiful. I took it off the journal, and I just took a set of pliers that I got from Dollar Tree a long time ago, and I am gluing that piece onto the opposite side from where the button is. So that little piece of decor did not come from Dollar Tree. So yeah, so far everything's come from Dollar Tree except for this little piece of jewelry, or not jewelry, but that little piece there, the gesso and the varnish. Again, you don't have to use gesso. You can use white paint. You don't have to use varnish. I just wanted to use varnish to make sure, even if it was the best acrylic paint in the world, I would have used varnish on this project. This button did come from Dollar Tree, and so I am just taking an awl, which I've had several awls for forever. Dollar Tree does not sell awls. AWL is the word I'm saying. And I'm puncturing holes where the holes are for the button. And again, I did get this set of buttons from Dollar Tree. They still have at least the Dollar Trees I've been to still have buttons like this, wooden buttons. But they don't have them all the time. And then I'm just taking some thread. Now this embossing thread, not embossing thread, gosh, embroidery thread did not come from Dollar Tree, but they do have some sometimes in little sets every now and then. that would have been enough for me to stitch this, but I didn't, and I had some purple that I had gotten from Dollar Tree before in a set with a bunch of different colors, but it was just barely any scraps left. It wasn't going to be enough for me to stitch this, but they do, like I said, sometimes they do have it there. And you could even use the crafter's thread or crafter's string, you know, the kind that's like red and white and different color, yellow and white, different colors. They'll have that little package of, you can use that to stitch as well. But I wanted to use purple, and I didn't have enough purple from Dollar Tree, so I'm using this purple embroidery thread I already had, and I'm stitching this in there. And I actually went through each hole 3 times, but you won't see it all 3 times in this video because it was hard for me to film stitching this and seeing where the buttons were because my eyesight is not the greatest, and I didn't want my head in the picture for that long because then you'd just be seeing my head. Or even when you saw what I was doing in my head, who wants to see my head in the video? And so I'm stitching as best I can. Oh, and I didn't explain, I took elastic. Dollar Tree does have elastic there. This I used a thicker elastic because the elastic there is really thin, but you could double it if you wanted to make it thicker, or if you're not worried about it, you can just use what they have there. It's fine. I just wanted to use the thicker kind because I had it. And so I put that under the button, and then when I stitched, the stitching went around the elastic. And then I just cut it and tied the end of that elastic. And I did it on the back as well. I stitched that one. And these openings, this elastic is going to hold my ribbon. This ribbon, it's not ribbon actually, this is yarn that I got from Dollar Tree. And they don't have it all the time, and not every Dollar Tree has this. But if you see, or you shop and like to shop Dollar Trees, look for this yarn. Periodically they have it. And it's so beautiful in many different colors. I need to go back and get some other colors, y'all. I only got what I needed for this project. And then I did, when I cut the yarn, I did use my lighter. This one I got forever ago from Dollar Tree, which is a Crocs one, but they still have those now, but not Crocs. It's their own kind of, I forget what that brand is called, that they always have for lighters at Dollar Tree. And I burnt the end of them so that they wouldn't unravel. And now I'm just tying a bow with my beautiful purple yarn on the end. And so as I work on the inside pages, and which we're going to do in the next video, and as the book gets bigger, if it does, then I'll be able to easily tie it closed no matter how wide it gets. Yeah, and it'll be nice and pretty. Okay, so now I felt like even after the varnish dried and everything on the side, there were still places where some of the letters were sticking up a little bit. I mean, not big, but I just didn't want them to ever come off. So I decided to use some Mod Podge that I got from Dollar Tree ages ago, because I have not seen Mod Podge at Dollar Tree for a while. So you can just use some regular Dollar Tree white glue to do this. And so I just took it and did some drops around the letters, and then used a Dollar Tree paintbrush to paint the glue around them. And then I just took my finger and smoothed in the excess, because the drops provided more glue than I really needed. But I should be set now, and that way it won't be so sticky. And I want it, when it does dry, hopefully it won't stick to anything. You got to let it cure for a while to avoid that with Dollar Tree before you put anything up against it. And then this is it, you guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed part 1, today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. It helps my channel out a lot. Also, you can check out all of my creative pictures of my different ventures and adventures on Instagram at Organized Planner Chic. I have 2 Facebook groups. The local one is called Phoenix Planner Friends for Christ. We normally meet in person once a month, but because of COVID-19, we're just doing everything on Facebook. And then I also have a Facebook group for anyone around the world called Organized Planner Chic Crew. And there we do giveaways. We'll be doing one this month. And also we try to stay in touch just about every day with posts and videos and lives and all that good stuff. And if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. And until next time, happy planning!